Revealed, incredible moment when a black teen connects with his dad after a life-changing verdict. Malik Thompson stood frozen on the steps of the community center, heart pounding, breath caught in his chest. News of the verdict had rippled through the city, igniting flames of anger and sadness that danced in the air. Today, it felt like the universe had conspired against him. His mother, a warrior in a world that never gave her any breaks, needed him. But how could he focus on law school when their lives were hanging by a thread? The chaos boiled within him as he realized that hope could barely survive in a place where dreams were snuffed out like street lamp flickers. The doors swung open. Inside, familiar faces filled the hall, voices weaving together in a community chorus of resilience. But Malik's gaze was drawn to a figure he never expected to see: his dad, James. Their eyes met. Time stood still. An electric tension sparked between them, thick like the humid air in summer. Every argument they'd ever had bled into this moment. Every feeling of abandonment boiled up until it spilled over. "What are you doing here?" Malik demanded, fists clenching at his sides. The hurt poured out of him, hot and wild. "I came because I wanted to talk. I thought maybe you could avoid the same mistakes I made," James replied, his voice trembling as the weight of his own past loomed large in the silence. Around them, the chatter of the crowd faded into a dull roar. Malik felt like they were at the center of a swirling storm, emotions clawing at both of them. Memories of his dad's absence scraped against his soul. Where had he been all those years? Malik's heart ached with a mixed bag of rage and longing, so similar yet so far apart. "You left us. Don't come here now acting like you care." Malik's voice cracked. The tightness in his chest was suffocating. Tears formed both of loss and the painful flicker of hope. As they shouted, tears of grief intertwined with shouts of pain, years of resentment poured out. Malik's fingers curled into fists, aching from the weight of his mother's struggles and the loss of dreams he feared were slipping away. "You don't know what it's like to grow up without a father. Have you forgotten who we are?" James flinched. "I tried to fight for you, for your mom. There were demons I had to confront, and I failed. I can't change the past, but I can be here now." The quiver in his voice echoed heartbreak, gripping Malik's attention. The tension in the room shifted. Other community members listened, some nodding in understanding, their stories visible in the lines of their faces. Each shared a history shaped by struggles that felt insurmountable, binding them together despite their individual pain. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Malik felt the air change. The anger still simmering, but tempered by a flicker of understanding. "Can it really change now?" he whispered, the vulnerability in his voice catching even him off guard. The gathering shifted once again. People began to rally behind them, a soft chant of solidarity building like hope rekindled in a dying fire. It was a moment to seize, a chance for Malik and James to redefine what family meant. Would they allow the burden of the past to define them, or could they step into a new chapter together? Just as Malik began to feel that spark of ambition rekindle, the sharp ring of his phone shattered their moment. The news that flashed across the screen threatened to shatter everything they had started to mend. As Malik stared at the screen, the weight of choices bore down on him. Would he stand firm in his dreams, or let the shadows stretch back, pulling him into despair? Malik's heart raced as he read the message on his phone. It was from his mother, and the urgency of her words twisted in his gut. "Malik, I need you home. We need to talk. It's serious." The world around him dimmed for a moment, the vibrant energy of the community center fading as paranoia gripped him. Everything he had been building with his dad felt fragile, like a glass sculpture that could shatter at the slightest disturbance. "I have to go," Malik announced, barely meeting his father's hesitant gaze. The warmth of potential reconciliation turned cold, and Malik's chest tightened. James reached out, desperation written across his face. "Wait, we can talk more. Just give me a moment," but Malik took a step back. "No. You want me to keep listening? How can I do that when my mom needs me? He felt torn. The chaotic emotions swirling inside him were too much to contain. James, a stranger wearing the faded mask of a father, looked small standing there. We can work this out, I swear. Just a little more time. His voice was weak now, but there was a flicker of something determination. Regret? Malik didn't he have time to find out. Striding out, he could still hear the murmur of the crowd, the snippets of support for both of them. But deeper still, he felt the weight of their shared history pushing down on him. Memories flashed in his mind. Laughter from days that felt long gone. The hurt of a childhood spent waiting for a dad who never showed. Malik pushed through the community center doors and into the buzzing streets. Reality hit him hard, and the world felt different, harsher. What was urgent for his mother felt monumental, a decision needed, paths diverging. He feared what she would say. Would it be more bad news? As he hurried down the block towards their apartment, worry gnawed at him like a small, persistent creature. His thoughts flicked to James again. What if this encounter had meant something? Could they have turned a corner? He sprinted into their rundown building, the staircase creaking beneath his feet. Upon reaching their floor, he stumbled into their apartment. The scent of burnt rice filled the air, and there she was, his mother, on the edge of the couch, worry etched deep into her features. Malik, she breathed out, her eyes wide and pleading. I'm glad you're here. I didn't want to tell you over the phone. What is it, Mom? His stomach dropped. She was clutching her phone, the screen reflecting her tense expression. What has happened? We received an eviction notice. She finally managed through the quiver of her lips. Each word hit him like a punch to the gut, taking the air out of him. They're giving us until the end of the month to get out. Malik's mind raced back to his earlier conversations with James, the glimmering possibility of hope quickly overshadowed by dread. The dreams of law school seemed to slip further away, lost in the reality of their day-to-day struggle. For a moment, silence filled the room, a silent scream echoing between them. This was no longer just about his father. It was about survival. Hurt and frustration mixed with thoughts of his future. How to make it work, how to fix everything. Just as the weight of his thoughts settled thickly over them, his mother's composure faltered. I don't know what we'll do, she finally confessed, eyes glistening with unshed tears. Malik's heartbeat drummed loudly in his ears. They were at a crossroads, dreams and consequences entwined, a battle for their very home. The chill of uncertainty gripped him. Mom, can we fight this? We can't let them do this to us. The words spilled from him, desperation rising as he blinked back tears. But as she looked at him, Malik could see the shadows of doubt in her eyes. What could they possibly do in the face of such harshness? Uncertainty hung in the air, thick and unyielding, as Malik realized he had a choice to make, a choice that would define not just his destiny, but theirs together. His mind buzzed with possibilities as he weighed his next steps. He could help his mom, fight for their home, or reconnect with James, allowing those years of pain to heal and redefine their family. As he looked into her weary face, Malik felt the weight of the decision settle heavily around him. Would he have to choose? And what would happen if he tried to do both? Malik's mind raced, the air thick with the gravity of their situation. His mother's eyes shimmered with fear and uncertainty, mirroring the turmoil inside him. How had they reached this point? He could still feel the echoes of laughter, the warmth of family dinners, moments that felt so distant now. Their home was supposed to be their safe haven, and yet it was now the battleground of their hopes and fears. Mom, he said, his voice steadier than he felt, we need a plan. We can't just sit here and hope for the best. His mother nodded slowly. The lines on her face deepened as she worried her hands. I've thought about calling lawyers, maybe reaching out to community organizations, but it feels like it won't change anything. Her voice cracked. Let us start there. We can't afford to lose our home. It's everything we have. Malik felt a frisson of determination rush through him. This was his chance to pull them from the brink of despair. Community organizations, he murmured, mentally cataloging the resources he had seen around town. There's the Unity Center. They help families in situations like ours. I was just there, and they were talking about legal aid. His mom took a deep breath, a flicker of hope igniting in her eyes. You really think they can help? I believe they can, Malik replied, feeling the swell of possibility. We just need to act fast. With newfound resolve, they began to gather documents. The eviction notice laid stark on the rickety kitchen table between them. The weight of it pressed down like a heavy stone, but Malik pushed forward. I can call them, Mom. Let me do this. As he dialed the number, he felt a mixture of nerves and excitement. It rang. Each beep heightened his heartbeat until the voice on the other end finally answered. Malik quickly introduced himself, explaining their plight, his voice steady, rehearsed. The lady on the line spoke in soothing tones, detailing what steps they could take. She would schedule an appointment for the next day. Relief washed over him, but he was far from finished. When he hung up, his mother's eyes turned teary again. I don't know what to say, Malik. You're being so strong. He stepped closer, willing to absorb some of her burden. We can't let fear win, Mom. We'll figure this out together. Malik knew he wasn't just killing time. He was laying the groundwork for the future. If they could get legal help, maybe they could fight this. Maybe they could stay. But thoughts of James crept back, unsought and unwelcome. The fragmented conversations replayed in his mind the half-finished promises and the lurking question of whether his father would even care about what they were going through. The disappointment felt like daggers. Didn't you say you were supposed to see your dad again? His mother asked quietly, sensing his inner turmoil. Yeah, Malik's voice was low, but I can't think about him right now. We're not in a good place, and I don't want to put my energy there. His mother nodded, but he could see the wheels turning in her mind. It might be worth talking to him just to see if he can support you, or even us. No, Mom. Malik felt a pulse of anger rising in him. What if he just let us down again? I can't deal with that right now. There was a pregnant pause, the tension in the air thickening. Malik's conviction wrestled with a gnawing sense that he was shutting a door that could lead to something he might need soon. Fine, she said, her own voice carrying the weight of defeat. But don't forget that family can be many things. Sometimes it's hard to accept help from those who hurt us. Malik chewed on that thought, frustration mingling with the slightest flicker of longing for a father's acknowledgement. With resolve rising again within him, Malik declared, I'll do what it takes to keep our home. That's all that matters right now. Yet, as he focused on the immediate fight, one thought loomed large. Was it truly possible to bridge the gaps in his family while standing at this edge? As he prepared himself for the next steps, he felt a weight pressing on his heart. What if this confrontation with his father was unavoidable? They needed to find out who they were meant to be to each other, not just as individuals, but as a family. That night, as Malik lay awake, the room filled with silence, he felt a resting heaviness. He knew the fight for his home had only just begun. Would there be room for reconciliation among the chaos? The thought carried him into dreams tinged with uncertainty. The sun peeked through the curtains, dousing Malik's room in gentle light. A new day had begun, filled with the promise of action. He could hear his mother stirring in the kitchen, her clattering of pans reinforcing the reality that they had a fight ahead. Malik wiped the drowsiness from his eyes, the weight of last night's thoughts still heavy in his mind. There was a nagging feeling, like a distant echo reminding him that he could not ignore his father forever. Determined to push that thought aside, he jumped out of bed and got dressed. They had an appointment to keep in the living room. His mother was already going through papers, her fingers trembling slightly. When she noticed Malik, her face brightened just a bit. I made you some breakfast. You need your energy. Grabbing the plate, Malik nudged her shoulder playfully. I'll need it. We're going to make history today, right? She chuckled, a hint of the anxiety melting away. You make me proud, you know. His phone buzzed. It was a reminder for their meeting at the Unity Center. The urgency of it pressed down on him, and there was no time for weakness. They needed to tackle this situation head-on. As they walked to the Unity Center, Malik noticed the familiar sights: the bakery with its warm, sweet smells, the park where he spent countless days laughing with friends. The world felt so normal, yet their lives had turned upside down. He couldn't help but wonder how everything could change on a dime. When they arrived, the atmosphere felt welcoming. Colorful signs decorated the entrance, and voices filled the space with affordable hope. They checked in, and Malik's heart raced. This was their chance. While waiting, Malik noticed a group gathered around a bulletin board, highlighting success stories. Families who had overcome adversities, parents who had fought for their kids. It sparked something inside him, a flicker of hope, but also a question. Would they be one of those stories? Would they find a way to keep their home? After what felt like an eternity, a woman with kind eyes called them into her office. It's great to meet you both. We're here to help. Malik felt a rush of relief wash over him as they explained their situation. The woman listened intently, jotting down notes, offering resources, sharing strategies. Each word empowered him more. But suddenly, his thoughts drifted back to his father. The possibility of reaching out rolled in his mind like a storm cloud. Maybe it was the urgency of their situation that made him consider it. If his father could help in any way, perhaps they could find a path forward together. "Mom, do you think it's time?" He began, searching for the right words. His mother's brow furrowed, and he could see the conflict in her eyes. "Malik, we've spoken about this. It's risky. What if he doesn't come through again?" "I know, but what if he does? What if he wants to help, and we never give him that chance?" His heart pounded in his chest. A knot of anxiety and hope twisted within him. Before she could respond, their lawyer interrupted, shifting the focus back to the case. "We can file for a stay against the eviction. There's a process we can follow, but it requires action." The conversation continued, but Malik was lost in thought. He felt torn. Should he take the leap and reach out, or stay anchored in their present fight? As they left the Unity Center, each step carried a weight heavier than before. The urgency of their situation pressed against him, but the desire for connection with his father lingered like a shadow. Walking home, the sun began to dip in the sky, coloring everything in hues of orange and pink. Malik stole a glance at his mom, who looked weary from the day's effort, but also thoughtful. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded, though he could see the strain etched on her face. "Let us take this one day at a time." But deep down, Malik knew that some decisions couldn't wait. His heart wrestled with the gravity of the choice ahead. Would he finally reach out to his father? That night, the weight of uncertainty pressed on him. The phone sat on the nightstand like a ticking time bomb. Would he dare call his father tomorrow? The anxious wait for a possible reconnection loomed, and Malik could feel it. What would happen if he did? What if this was the moment that changed everything? The next morning arrived with an atmosphere heavy with anticipation. Malik's stomach churned as he paced around his room. The thought of picking up that phone filled him with both dread and hope. He glanced at the clock, wishing it would somehow fast forward through the hours. His mother's voice broke through his thoughts, calling him for breakfast. He shuffled into the kitchen, where the smell of eggs and toast mingled with his anxiety. She smiled weakly, a clear indication that she was grappling with her own emotions. "Have you thought any more about that?" she asked, pouring herself a cup of coffee. Malik hesitated, his grip tightening around his fork. I don't know, Mom. What if I call him, and he doesn't pick up? Or worse, what if he does pick up, and it's just awkward?" Her expression softened. "I understand. It's a big step. Just remember, you're doing this for us, for our future." Her words resonated like a heartbeat against his conscience. They needed help, but at what cost? The fear of rejection loomed over him like darkening clouds. After breakfast, Malik took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. He picked up the phone. The device felt foreign in his hands. He scrolled through the contacts until he found his father's name. It seemed like a lifetime since he last spoke to him. His heart raced. "Okay, just do it," he whispered under his breath. With shaking fingers, he hit dial. The ringing echoed in his ears, each tone stretching time until he felt like he might burst. "What if he says something that breaks me?" he thought. However, there was also a flicker of hope, a possibility for something new, a fresh start. Then, the call connected. Malik heard his father's voice on the other end, rough yet familiar. "Hello? Dad." His voice came out shaky, barely above a whisper. "Malik?" There was a pause, and then a silence thick with confusion. "Is this you? What is going on?" The worry in his father's voice ignited something within him. I need to talk. It's about the house. Is everything all right?" There was genuine concern in his father's tone. "Not really," Malik admitted, clenching his fists. "Mom and I are facing eviction. We're scared, and I don't know who else to turn to." Silence stretched between them, unyielding yet transformative. Finally, his father spoke, the cadence of his voice much softer now. "I didn't know. I'm sorry, Malik. I can help. I want to help." Malik's heart felt both heavy and light. Hearing those words, the tension that had clenched his chest began to loosen, just a little. "Really? You do that?" "Yeah, let us figure this out together." The sincerity in his father's voice shimmered like sunlight breaking through clouds. Before he could process the rush of emotions, confusion, relief, and a flicker of hope, Malik heard his mother's footsteps approaching. He met her gaze, and she could see the surprise and warmth illuminating his expression. He nodded slightly. "Can I call you back in a few hours?" Malik asked, still feeling the adrenaline course through him. "Of course. Anytime, son. I'm here," his father replied. As Malik ended the call, he exhaled a breath he didn't know he was holding. He turned to find his mother standing there, her eyes wide and glistening with surprise. "What just happened?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Malik smiled, a mix of disbelief and joy bubbling to the surface. "He is going to help us." The room filled with a sense of possibility, a fleeting dream that could become reality. They hadn't won yet, but a path had opened, one they never thought was possible. Malik could feel the weight of their struggles easing, if only slightly. But amidst the excitement, he couldn't shake the undercurrent of caution. Was this truly the turning point they needed, or just a fleeting moment that would slip away? As they embraced, Malik's heart swelled with confusion. Could he really trust his father again? Would this be the beginning of healing, or just another disappointment waiting to happen? Tomorrow loomed large, filled with uncertainty and hope. What new twists would their fragile connection bring next? The sun painted the kitchen windows with a warm glow as Malik sat at the table, the remnants of breakfast scattered in front of him. He could still feel the buzzing excitement from his conversation with his father, lingering like a sweet aftertaste. But it was mixed with fear, an uncomfortable feeling that crept back in. Could he trust his father after all these years? "Want some more coffee, Malik?" his mother asked, pulling him from his thoughts. She had already poured herself a second cup, and the steam rose into the air, curling like a fragile promise. "Yeah, sure," he responded, though he felt jittery. His mind was racing, filled with questions and uncertainties. "Do you think we should talk about the plan?" she suggested, her voice a gentle nudge. Malik hesitated, his heart pounding. "I think I should call him back first, talk to him about what he can do." She nodded, and for a moment, neither of them spoke. They were both lost in their own swirling thoughts. The kitchen felt safe, cocooned in this moment, but outside loomed the harsh reality of their situation. He picked up the phone again, fingers trembling slightly as he searched for his father's name. Thunderous thoughts raced through his mind. What if his father had really changed? What if he didn't come through for them? A bead of sweat trickled down his back, but the clock was ticking. They needed a solution fast. Taking a deep breath, he dialed. The familiar ringing felt like a countdown to an important event, each tone pounding in his chest. "Hello?" His father answered, this time sounding more alert, less confused. "Hey, Dad. It's me, Malik." Each word felt monumental. Even saying Dad again made his stomach flutter. "Hey, I was waiting to hear back from you." The warmth in his father's voice surprised Malik, causing a flicker of hope to spark. "I was thinking about the eviction. What can you do to help?" Malik asked, trying to keep his tone steady. "I can send some money to help with the rent. It won't be much, but I believe it can buy you some time. We can also talk to the landlord about a payment plan," his father offered, genuine concern lacing his words. Malik felt a wave of relief wash over him, mixed with skepticism. "You really mean that?" "Of course, son. I don't want you and your mom to struggle. I didn't realize how tough things had gotten for you." The seriousness in his father's tone tugged at Malik's heart. Had he only been oblivious back then? Malik clenched the phone, trying to read the depth of this moment between them. As they discussed the details, Malik's mother approached, listening intently. He could feel her presence, a reassuring weight beside him. She planted a hand on his shoulder, squeezing it gently in support. "Thank you, Dad," Malik said, the words spilling out. I appreciate it." "No thanks needed," his father responded, his voice softer. "We're family. I should have done more." Malik's stomach churned again, this time with a mix of anger and sadness. "You've been away for so long. How do I know this isn't just talk?" Silence followed, thick with unspoken words. "Malik, actions will prove my commitment. I don't expect you to trust me right away, but this is a start." His words hung in the air, fragile yet hopeful. They could either breathe life into their relationship or dash it against the stones of disappointment. When he hung up the phone, Malik felt lighter, yet the unease lingered. What if this is just a temporary fix? Can I really rely on him? He wondered. His mother stood beside him, a glimmer of hope dancing across her face. It's a start, isn't it? We can follow this path together. He wanted to believe that. Maybe, just maybe, this could herald a new beginning. But the nagging question remained. How long before shadows of the past would creep back in? As Malik's mind swirled with possibilities, the silence in the kitchen was pierced by the sudden buzz of his phone, a new text coming through. He glanced at the screen and froze. Reading the words that made his heart race, it was from his father. Let us meet. It's time to talk face to face. Was he ready for this? For the first time, Malik felt the weight of potential change pressing down on him. What would this meeting mean for their fractured bond? What revelations awaited him in this unexpected reunion? Malik stared at the phone, his heart racing. The message sat there, just a few words that felt like an avalanche of emotions: anticipation, dread, and a flicker of hope intertwined in a delicate balance. Let us meet. It's time to talk face to face. The words echoed in his mind. What could his dad possibly want to discuss in person? His mother lowered her coffee cup, breaking through his fog. What is it, Malik? She asked, her voice a soft blanket wrapping around his anxious thoughts. It's Dad. He paused, gathering his breath. He wants to meet up. A mixture of concern and excitement flashed across her face. Do you feel ready for that? It's a big step. I don't know, he whispered, doubt creeping in. What if he disappoints me again? She walked over and placed a hand on his back, a steadying force. You won't know until you go. Just be honest with him. Malik nodded, feeling his stomach twist. What if it all goes wrong? Should I even trust him? Trust comes with time. Just remember, we've made it this far together. You're not alone, she reminded him, her steady gaze holding a mirror to his uncertainty. He took a deep breath, the aroma of coffee filling the air, sweet and bitter all at once. It mirrored his feelings perfectly. He had been so focused on their past that he hadn't considered the present possibility this could actually be a chance to repair what had been broken. Malik reached for his phone, his fingers trembling as he typed a response. Okay, when and where? His father replied quickly. How about the diner on Maple? Around 5? Malik set his jaw. The diner. A place filled with memories, both comforting and painful. It had been a family spot when things were better: laughter and pancakes smothered with syrup. Could they find a way to turn those memories into something hopeful again? Sounds good, he texted back, reluctant yet resolute. Hours dragged by, the day stretching like a taut string ready to snap. Malik glanced out the kitchen window, watching the late afternoon sun sink lower in the sky. Each tick of the clock felt louder, the anticipation building walls around him. When 5 o'clock finally arrived, Malik dressed carefully, wanting to look presentable but also feeling the weight of too many expectations. His mother adjusted his collar, her hands steady. You've got this, she said, offering a warm smile. Yeah, I hope so. He stepped out, a self-made fortress of hope and fear encasing him as he walked toward the diner. The familiar neon sign glowed above him as he approached, flickering slightly, creating a sense of unease wash over him. Inside, the soft hum of voices and the smell of greasy fries danced around him, pulling memories from every corner of his mind. But he pushed them aside, focusing instead on the table in the corner where he spotted his father. Malik's heart raced, and he nearly turned back, hesitation pulling at his heels. But he was already moving forward, compelled by the unknown. His father looked older, a bit worn from life's trials, but there was a light in his eyes, a softness he hadn't seen in years. Hey, Malik, his father said, standing to embrace him. The hug was stiff, but for the first time, there was no alcohol permeating his father's presence. It was different. Hey, Dad, Malik murmured, pulling back to look into his father's eyes. A moment passed, heavy with anticipation and unspoken words. His father motioned for him to sit as they settled into the booth. Malik felt the weight of the past pulling at him, yet a sliver of hope flickered. He wanted answers, but he also wanted connection. So what do you want to talk about? He asked, the edge of his voice subtle yet firm. His father looked pained, the words struggling to find their way to the surface. I want to explain to make things right. Malik leaned in, the air thickening with possibilities. What had his father hidden for so long? What truths needed to be uncovered? As he listened, the diner buzzed around them, oblivious to the monumental moment unfolding at their table. But he kept his eyes locked on his father, ready to dive into whatever. Revelations would surface, and just like that, the world outside faded away, leaving Malik at the crossroads of his past, waiting for the answers that could change everything. Would they lead to reconciliation, or would they shatter the fragile bridge they were attempting to build? Each second seemed to stretch as he held his breath, wondering if this meeting would unravel more than just words. Malik's heart raced as he searched his father's face, searching for the right words to cascade from his lips. His father opened his mouth, but the silence stretched painfully. It felt like they had been pulled into different dimensions, each caught in their own fears and uncertainties. Finally, his father cleared his throat. "I know I haven't been there for you, US. I'm sorry," he said, his voice trembling slightly as he looked down at his hands resting on the table. "It's hard for me to even say that." Malik held his breath, feeling the weight of those words like a stone dropped in a quiet pond, causing ripples. "Why now?" he asked, the question escaping him before he had a chance to consider the pain it might inflict. "Why did you want to meet?" His father glanced around the diner, the flicker of old memories illuminating his gaze. "I've had a lot of time to think," he admitted. "The past few years have been a blur. I've missed more than I can explain. I want to be there for you now, but I need you to understand what I've been through too." With a slight nod, Malik felt the storm of emotions brewing inside. His dad's past was a mystery woven with grief and struggle, but Malik had always feared it would drown any hope they could rebuild. "What do you mean?" His father leaned in, the shadows of doubt fading into a semblance of honesty. "I made choices, wrong ones. I thought leaving you and your mother would make things easier. I thought it was my only option." A tightness coiled in Malik's chest, but he remained silent, trying to process the admission. "You thought running away would solve everything?" He blinked back the sting of tears. "I know it sounds selfish now. I was struggling with my demons, and instead of facing them, I ran. I thought if I removed myself, you wouldn't have to carry my burdens. But I was wrong, Malik. You needed me." Malik felt the earth shift beneath him. A flood of anger mixed with understanding coursed through him. "You think I didn't carry the weight of your choices?" He struggled against a wave of emotions, memories crashing back, the empty chair at family dinners, missed birthdays, and the crushing silence when everyone around him celebrated family. "I should have fought for you," his father said, his voice barely more than a whisper. "I got lost. There's no excuse. But I'm here now. Let me try to be a better man, a better father." As those words settled in the air between them, Malik felt something stir, the faintest whisper of hope combined with the cautious edge of skepticism. Could he truly trust this man sitting across from him? Could his father be the one to pull him from the shadows? Malik felt a tremor of resolve building within him. "It's not going to be easy. I have a lot of questions and scars." "Then let us work through them," his father replied, his eyes earnest, a glimmer of a promise lingering in the depths. "I want to be there for you, no matter how long it takes." They exchanged a long look, the weight of unexpressed emotions hanging in the air. As the diner buzzed around them, Malik could feel the walls of their past threatening to close in again. But there was also a flicker of something else, a thin thread of potential for something new. "Okay," Malik finally said, his voice steadier. "Let us start talking." A shared breath hung between them, and they began to unravel the tightly wound threads of history. But just as Malik felt the tension easing, the door swung open with a loud jingle, startling both of them. An older man stepped in, his eyes darting across the room before locking onto Malik's father. "David?" he called, his voice cutting through the haze of their conversation. Malik's heart sank. Who was this man? What storm was approaching? His father froze, and the diner suddenly felt like a pressure cooker, the heat building around them. Malik's mind raced, wondering if this meeting, this fragile step forward, might all come crashing down around them just as it had begun to rise. What had his father not shared? What secrets lay waiting just outside their fragile bubble? Malik's instincts flared as he studied the stranger's face, a mix of recognition and apprehension clouding his father's features. The man took several strides toward their booth, urgency etched into every wrinkle of his forehead. Malik's heart raced, the warmth from the diner's lights suddenly feeling stifling. "David, it's been too long," the man said, his voice heavy with a mix of frustration and relief. He reached out, placing a hand on the table, eyes darting between Malik and his father. "We need to talk." Malik felt his pulse quicken, an unexpected surge of protectiveness towards his father. "Who are you?" he asked, the words bursting forth. He was tired of being a silent observer, tired of his life unfolding with secrets he could barely grasp. The man's gaze turned to Malik, softening just a bit. "I'm James, an old friend of your father's sort of," he said, the hesitation in his admission lingering. "I used to know him when things were different." David's expression darkened, and Malik caught the flicker of fear in his eyes. "Not now, James. This isn't the time," he said almost pleadingly, the weight of his words hanging in the air like a storm cloud. Malik leaned forward, feeling a pulsing urgency. "Why not? If there's something you know that could change things, then we need to hear it." James shifted awkwardly, casting a glance around the diner as if weighing the potential fallout of his next words. "I didn't come here to stir up old wounds. But your past is catching up to you, David. It could hurt Malik." Malik felt a chill creep up his spine. What could possibly be worse than what they were already dealing with? "What is going on?" He pressed harder, his voice sharper now. David's hands clenched into fists, the knuckles turning white as he fought internally. "Malik, this isn't about you," he said, but his voice lacked its earlier conviction. It only heightened Malik's awareness that there were shadows thickening around them, secrets swirling dangerously close. James looked back at David, unwavering. "It's all connected. The decisions you made back then, the ones that haunted you, they're resurfacing. Maybe you think you're ready to start fresh, but is that really true?" Malik took a deep breath, emotion welling up in him again. "Dad, please, just tell me what this is about." The words felt like a plea, an urgent need to find solid ground amid the chaos. David's eyes met Malik's, and in that moment, Malik saw the flickering truth he had longed for, the fear and vulnerability behind the walls that had been built for years. "I thought we could begin healing together," he started, his voice shaky. "But now it seems I was wrong." The diner's noise seemed to fade away as Malik felt the ground beneath him shift. Could they really start anew if the shadows of their past were looming so large? Just then, James opened his mouth again, only for the door to swing open with a jarring clatter. A woman burst into the diner, her face a mix of concern and urgency. "David, we need to go. Now. They found us." Malik's world started to spiral. The weight of everything that could unravel felt crushing, yet somewhere inside, a flame of determination sparked. If his father's past was coming for him, then wasn't he at Malik's right to understand it all? "Who are they?" he demanded, his voice steady despite the furor within him. Before either man could respond, James stepped back, a shadow of panic crossing his features. "You'll have to trust me, Malik. This goes deeper than you know." And in that moment, Malik had a choice to make. Would he follow his father into this maze of uncertainty or stand firm, demanding answers he felt he had every right to grasp? As silence enveloped the dining space, Malik could only wonder how much of his life had been built on undisclosed truths, and if the confrontation of those truths could ever lead them back to each other. Malik's heart thudded heavily, the storm now a gale. What came next could change everything. Would he find the courage to confront his father's past, or would the weight of it break them both? Malik sat at the diner table, disbelief swirling in the air. The unexpected arrival of this woman, coupled with the tension that crackled around David and James, stirred something fiery within him. "What do you mean they found us?" he pressed, eyes darting between the two men in search of answers. "David, we can't talk here," the woman said urgently, her gaze scanning the diner as though danger lurked in every corner. "We need to go now." David's face drained of color. The truth he had hinted at moments ago seemed poised to unravel everything Malik thought he understood. Malik's pulse quickened. Fear clung to him like a weight. He had wrestled with the shadows of his father's past, but this was something more real, more immediate. "Dad, what is going on?" David swallowed hard, wrestling with a battle inside him. "I made choices that put you and your mother in danger," he confessed, voice strained. "I thought I could protect you by leaving. I didn't think it would come back to haunt you. Why didn't you tell me?" Malik shouted, fury mingling with desperation. "Why would you keep me in the dark?" James stepped closer, a mixture of concern and determination etched on his face. "You deserve the truth, Malik. We'll explain everything, but we need to move quickly. They won't stop until they get what they want." Malik's heart raced. This was not the father-son reunion he had planned. But now, standing on this precipice, he felt a surge of resolve. If they were going to face whatever was coming, they would do it together. "Where do we go?" Malik asked, voice stronger than he felt. "We can't stay here," David replied, his eyes pleading as he reached for Malik's hand. "I know I haven't earned your trust, but I want to protect you. We can figure this out. Please." As they slid out of the booth, Malik found himself standing at the edge of uncertainty. Disappointment, fear, and a flicker of hope churned inside him. Could they really be on the verge of fighting so demons together? Would this be their moment of redemption? The woman led them toward the back exit, James trailing close behind. Malik's mind buzzed as they stepped into the alley, the sounds of the diner muffled behind them. The panic in the air was palpable as they rushed along the narrow space. "They're close," James warned. "We can't afford to waste time." Malik's heart beat in time with his quickening steps. Thoughts of his mother flooded and she was waiting at home, unaware of the chaos that had just erupted in their lives again. Leaving her behind didn't sit right. But now he had to protect not just her, but also himself, and whatever chance of reconnection he had with David. "What do we do?" Malik asked, desperation edging his voice. "We need a safe space first, somewhere they can't trace us," James said, urgency fueling his words. "But I need your dad to face his past." "Malik, I know this is a lot. What do you know about him that I don't?" Malik interrupted, the edge in his voice sharp. "What are we running from?" David turned to Malik, anguish spilling from his eyes. "I wish I could explain everything right now. Just know that my past decisions put you both in jeopardy. I can fix this. I have to." "And how do you plan to do that?" Malik challenged, the distance between them feeling like an unbridgeable chasm. "By finally standing up to those who threaten us," David declared, conviction flooding his voice. Together. As they rounded the corner, David and Malik stopped short. A car idled in the distance, its engine rumbling ominously like a storm on the horizon. David shot a look at James, whose expression was grave. "We need to move now." In that fleeting moment, Malik felt the swirling fear and uncertainty begin to coalesce into something more potent: courage. He wasn't just running anymore. He was choosing to confront his past and the legacy of the man who stood before him. "Let us do this, Dad," he said, swallowing the knot in his throat. "I don't know what we're up against, but we'll face it together." David's face reminded Malik of stone hard, but slowly softening. "I won't let you down again." With renewed determination, they slipped into the shadows, urgency propelling them into the unknown, a bond forming not just through blood, but through the shared weight of facing their demons head-on. As they piled into the car, Malik felt hope unfurling in his chest like a blooming flower in the early light of spring. In that tense moment of uncertainty, they were more than a father and son. They were warriors ready to battle against whatever shadows awaited them. As the car sped away from the diner, Malik looked out the window, heart pounding. But for the first time, he felt like they could rewrite their story. They weren't just trying to survive anymore. They were on the verge of thriving, together. This was the beginning of dawn after a long, dark night. And just like that, Malik knew he had made the right choice. He was ready to build something new, not just a future, but a family. Don't you see? This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to catch every heartfelt transformation in the stories that follow. Liking this video feeds the algorithm and helps bring more inspiring tales to everyone looking for hope. Leave a comment below sharing your feelings about Malik and David's journey. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. Let's spread the message far and wide.